Alright, so good day everyone. So in this video lesson for today, I'm going to discuss about midline and mid-segment theorem. So actually there are two topics for this week 3 no, sa Math 9. So first one is the midline and mid-segment theorem, and the second one is all about the theorems on trapezoids and kites. The objective of this video lesson is to prove the midline and mid-segment theorem. So I'm going to discuss about the midline theorem and also the mid-segment theorem. Midline theorem, by definition, it states that the segment that joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half as long. So, kung imo na siyang i-illustrate ang midline, so mo na siya ang forma. Okay? So, this is the triangle. Okay? Then, mo ni ang segment. So, this one, mo nang gitawag dato nga midline. Okay? It is a segment that joins the midpoints sa two sides sa triangle. So, if this is the midline, mo ni ang midpoints. Okay? So, mo na siya ang simple illustration sa midline. Okay? And also, the midline theorem also states that the segment is parallel sa third side and half as long. So, kani siyang midline is parallel to this one, to this side, okay, which is what we call the base of the triangle. And the measure of the midline is half the measurement of the base sa triangle. Here are some terms that are being used in this discussion. Okay, balik. Here are some terms that are being used sa tuwang topic. So it's very important that we know the definition of terms of each words. Okay, kanang midline, mid-segment, midpoint, and parallel lines or segments. So first, we're going to tackle about the midline. Midline is a segment joining the midpoints of any two sides of a triangle. So na-discuss na nako kung unsa tong midline. Okay? Mid-segment is a segment joining the midpoints of any two sides of a trapezoid. Actually, mid-segment and midline pare-parehas lang sila. Okay? But ang kalainan lang nila, slight difference lang. Ang midline, it is particular sa triangle. So it is a segment nga naa sa tunga sa triangle. Mid-segment, ang segment nga naa tunga sa trapezoid. Okay? So later on, we will discuss more about the mid-segment. So first, i-discuss na to ang midline theorem. Midpoint is a point that divides a line segment into two equal parts. Okay, so balik ta sa katong drawing ganiya sa triangle. Okay, this is the triangle. So pasensyahin na akong drawing. So let's assume that this is a triangle. Okay, so bahala na na kung saan ipuan. Dili may pagka drawing sa akong triangle, but for the sake na sa atong discussion, so I'm going to draw a triangle. Then this is the midline. Okay? And balik na sa definition sa midline theorem, no? It states that the segments that joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle. Okay? Arita sa segment that joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle. If the midline is being created sa triangle, Okay, kung nagbutang kag midline, of course, it creates also midpoints. Ari nga side o diri nga side. And if there's a midpoint, it divides the sides of the triangle into two equal parts. Like for example, sa left side sa triangle, if this is the midpoint, it divides this into two equal parts. Okay? And sa right side sa triangle, if na-create ang midpoint or if nine midpoint, so it is also divides it, or it also divides the sides of the triangles into two equal parts. Okay, so again, midpoint, it is a point that divides a line segment into two equal parts. Okay, so muna siya sa left side sa triangle, it divides into two equal parts. Sa right side, it also divides into two equal parts. Next, parallel lines or segments are two or more lines or segments that are always the same distance apart and never meet or touch. So, ang midline and the base of the triangle are always parallel to each other. Again, ang midline sa triangle and the base of the triangle are always parallel to each other. Ang sides, dili na sila parallel sa usag-usa because they meet at a certain point. But the midpoint, not the midpoint, but the midline and the base sa triangle will never meet. It means they are parallel to each other. So the symbol that we're going to use is this one. Ano siya? Okay? It is it reads, or ang basa niya ani is parallel to. Okay? Ang basa niya is parallel to. Okay, so let's discuss about this figure. Consider triangle ACT. So this is triangle ACT having the midline, which is line segment XY, or simply XY. Okay? And XY is parallel to CT. This is the midline and this is the base of the triangle. They are always parallel to each other. Okay? What are the midpoints? If there is a midline, there's always a midpoint that are being created. Sa left side sa triangle, point X. Sa right side, point Y. Okay? Point X is the midpoint of AC. Again, point X is the midpoint of AC. So, muna ang midpoint sa AC. AC is the left side sa triangle. Okay? And it divides into two equal parts. Whatever the distance from X to A, it's just the same as the distance from X to C. Okay? So, parehas na sila. Point Y in the midpoint of 80. Okay? Actually, dili ni in. Is ni siya, no? Nasayop lang na siya pag-type. But, point Y is ni siya, ha? Point Y is the midpoint of 80. Okay? So, this is the midpoint at the right side sa triangle. 80 is the other side sa triangle. No? Na nasa sa right side sa triangle. So, whatever the distance from Y to A, it's just the same as the distance from Y to T. Okay? Muna siya. So, let's go back to the point X is the midpoint of AC. So, thus, AX is congruent to CX. So, AX is congruent to CX. Okay? Next, point Y is the midpoint of 80. Thus, AY is congruent to TY. Okay? According to the midline theorem, using symbols based from the given figure, XY is equals 1/2 the measurement of CT. So, CT is the base of the triangle. xy is the midline of the triangle. Let's go back to the midline theorem again. So, it is parallel to the third side and also half as long. So, kato nga ang measurement niya, or kato nga ang yung distance. If CT, okay, if CT, for example, if CT is 6, what will be the measurement of XY? So, that is 3. O na, nga na ay equation related sa figure or based sa figure that XY, which is the midline, is 1/2 the measurement of CT. Okay? As an application of the theorem, consider the following examples using the figure. So we are going to use the triangle ACT having the midline, which is XY, to the following problems. So suppose for the first problem, the length of CT is 10 centimeters. So, CT is the base of the triangle. So, 10 centimeters siya. Next, the length of XY is 5 centimeters. So, XY. So, 5 centimeters. Then, how? Yun sa. Ang length sa CT, 10. Ang length sa XY, 5. How? Yun sa pag-solve, yun sa man pag-measure ang XY. Okay? Yun sa man pag-measure ang XY. So, first one is XY equals 1/2 the measurement of CT. So, again, XY is the midline, CT is the base of the triangle. So, XY equals 1/2 times. Substitute with the given. So, ang measurement sa CT is 10 centimeters. So, that is 1/2 times 10 centimeters. Then, 10 divided by 2, no? I-divide naman lang na siya, or you can cross-cancel. So, kana siya, may mo na siyang 5, may mo na siyang 1. So, XY equals 5 centimeters. So, that is the answer for number 1. Okay, so let's change color sa pen. Gusto na ko blue, no? Light blue lang. Sige. Let's go back to the problem. So, asa na ta? Number 2. If CT is equals 21 centimeters, XY equals blank. So, gipangita ang midline. Ang measurement sa midline. So again, we're going to apply the formula based sa midline theorem. XY equals 1/2 times the measurement of CT. XY equals 1/2 times 21 centimeters. So substitute 21 sa CT. So after that, i-divide ang 21 sa 2. So nakikita. So XY equals 10.5 centimeters. So again, XY equals 10.5 centimeters. Number 3. If XY equals 13 centimeters, CT equals, so bali, no? Ang given na sad midline, ang gipangita ang base sa triangle. Kung ang midline, which is XY, is 13 centimeters, CT is unsa man. So, mo niyang solution. So, balik gyapon ta sa equation based sa midline theorem nga XY equals 1/2 CT. Then, substitute the XY. Then, ang XY is 13 centimeters. So, substitute ra ka, no? Ang XY mao nimong 13 centimeters. So, mo na ni siya. 13 centimeters equals 1/2 CT. Okay? or 13 equals CT over 2. So how come that 13 equals CT over 2? Ano ra ni siya? 13, so disregard first the unit of measurement. So that is 13 equals 1/2 CT, no? So it consider as one variable ang CT. So that's times 1. Muna nga nahimo siyang 13 equals CT all over 2. Okay? After that, multiplied each sides sa equation by 2, no? So actually, you have two methods, no? The first one is using the multiplication. Also, what's the purpose of using the multiplication? So, para makancel ang denominator, which is 2. So, muna siyang gitawag ang multiplicative inverse, no? Para ang right side, mabili na lang CT. Because we are looking for CT, no? We are looking for CT. So, muna siya nga gi-cancel out. So, nabili na lang CT. So, kung suwato na. So, CT na lang, no? Na lang. Ato siyang i-kuan be. Okay. Let's erase. Okay, since ang CT nasa right side sa equation, so, let's, kumbaga, i-subay lang nato siya, no? Dapat nasa right side ang CT. So, cancel out naman na siya. So, sa right side, CT na lang. But on the left, wala man kayo makancel. So, multiply. 2 times 13, that is 26. So, 26 cm equals CT. Or CT equals 26 centimeters. So, that is the answer. 26 centimeters. So, balik na this equation nga. 13 equals CT over 2. Actually, you can use the cross multiplication method. Okay? So, balik nagsuwat ha. Ari ko magsuwat. So, 13 equals CT all over 2. So, kani, it is very well understood that you have the denominator which is 1. Then, cross multiply. Then, CT equals 13 times 2, that is 26. So, it's either of the two methods. You can use this method or you can use this one. Okay? Okay, let's go now to number 4. If xy equals 5.3 centimeters, CT equals blank. So, again, ang given is the midline. Unknown is the base sa triangle. So, kung unsa tong gibuhat sa number 3, mao sa datong buhaton sa number 4. So, substitute the value of xy. So, ang xy becomes 5.3 equals 1/2 times CT or 5.3 equals CT over 2. Okay? Sa kanang CT, multiply sa 1, mo na mo siyang CT over 2. Then, it's either you imong i-cross multiply, okay, or you can use the multiplicative inverse in order to cancel out the 2 sa denominator at the right side of the equation. So, kung kanino mo gamiton, so, ang mabili na lang, CT equals 2 times 5.3, that is 10.6. So, therefore, ang answer niya is 10.6. Or you can cross-multiply. So, CT equals 2 times 5.3. CT ni siya ha. So, therefore, CT equals 10.6. Okay? So, it's either of the two methods. No, it's either you can use this one or this one. Okay, or this one kana connected na sila. So therefore, CT equals 10.6 centimeters. Okay, I hope nakagets mo, nakakuha mo sa atong discussion about the midline theorem. So let's go now to the mid-segment theorem. Okay? So, first, we're going to discuss, again, the definition of trapezoids. Or, let's review about trapezoid. Trapezoid is a quadrilateral with exactly one pair of opposite sides parallel. Okay? Exactly one pair of opposite sides parallel. That is trapezoid. Then, parts of a trapezoid. Okay, first, the base or bases. The second, the legs. No? Third, base angles. The fourth, the median. Okay. Kung when talk about the simple trapezoid lang, so ang parts niya, bases, legs, and angles. Particularly base angles. Pero if included na ang mid-segment theorem, so apil na ang gitawag na ito nga median. Sige, let's discuss first about the bases. So bases are the parallel sides. Okay? So I will draw trapezoid. So pasensya na akong drawing ha. Ano na siya? Bases are the parallel sides. So which part of this trapezoid are bases? So kani dili na siya bases, but the sides of the trapezoid. Okay? Side na siya sa trapezoid. Okay? Sige, erase na to. Na-delete man tanan. So, I will draw again the trapezoid. Monin trapezoid. So, again, kaning duha, the left and the right side sa trapezoid, dili na siya bases, but the bases are this one and this one. Okay? Kanang nasa babaw mo nang gitawag na to nga upper base. Ang ubos mo nang gitawag na to nga lower base. Okay? So, basi dahil mangutana, sir, is the upper base ang measurement ba sa upper base mas mubo kaysa sa lower base? So, the answer is it's not always the case. It depends on the given trapezoid. Na may trapezoid nga form mo ginani, no? So kani siya magsilbi ni siyang upper base. Magsilbi ni siyang upper base kani lower base. Okay? Naapoy trapezoid nga kuan mag-ana. What if mag-ana ang form sa trapezoid? So asa man ang base? So here is one tricky question, no? Some says that the base is kumuni, but actually it's not. Mo gyapon ni, no? Kani gyapon. Okay? This part and this part are the bases. Okay? But dili na siya matawag na to nga upper and lower base. Left base and the right base. Okay? So how are you going to determine na kana siya base na siya sa trapezoid? Okay? Sa mo ni pagkaibaw nga kuan na siya nga base na siya sa trapezoid. So one or not one, no? Ang pinaka timailhan na base na siya if they are parallel to each other and they never meet each other. So if this is the trapezoid, these are the bases. Okay? The upper and the lower bases. And if you're going to extend their lines sa upper and lower bases, they are parallel to each other and they never meet at one point. Okay? So muna siya ang bases. So daaman day sa ako sa definition. Bases are the parallel sides. It is always, or they are always parallel sides. And if they are parallel sides, they are called bases. Okay? Number 2, legs are the non-parallel sides. So if we have the base, or if we have the bases, naputi kita nga legs. No? So kani, non-parallel sides are the legs of the trapezoid. Number 3, base angles are angles formed by a base and a leg. Okay? This is the base, this is the leg. This is the base, this is also the leg. And if they are being beat at a certain point, no, it forms an angle. Para gapon sa quadrilaterals, para sa gapon sa parallelogram, sa rectangle, sa square, sa rhombus. So there's always an angle, or there's always angles formed. Okay? So specifically mao nang gitawag na to nga base angles. Okay? Base angles are angles formed by a base and a leg. So mo ni siya. Kanipod, this is also what we call the base angle also. The base angle, sakto. So mo ni siya ning gitawag nato nga base angles. Again, so mo ni gitawag gyapon nato nga base angles. So upper base angles and the lower base angles. Okay? Next, number 4. Median is a line segment that joins the midpoints of the non-parallel sides of a trapezoid. Okay. Let's erase. So I will draw again the trapezoid. So may nga kag median, kung ang gitawag na ito nga mid-segment. Okay? So mo ni ang median. It is a line segment or a segment that joins the midpoints of the non-parallel sides of a trapezoid. So, pareha sa triangle, it creates the midpoints. No? If there is a midpoint, it divides the sides of the trapezoids into two equal parts. Okay? Like for example, let's name C, D, E, F. Then ang usa ang yahang median or the mid segment X ug Y. So the median XY or the mid segment XY is formed at the middle of the trapezoid, and it divides the sides sa trapezoid into two equal parts. Okay? Again, pareha na gapon sa triangle. If there is a mid segment o katong sa balik ta pareha sa tong triangle, no? So kung sa triangle natin gitawag ang midline. If there is a midline, there's always a midpoint. Popo dire sa trapezoid. If there is a median or if there is a mid segment, there's always a midpoint also. Okay? So ang abaw naman tanong sa inang definition sa midpoint. So ang purpose niya is to divide the sides into two equal parts, no? First, sa left side sa trapezoid is the side CF or FC. So it divides into two equal parts kay na may midpoint, then also na inform nga median. So whatever the distance from X to C, it's just the same sa X and F. Mo po diri sa right side, no? Whatever the distance from Y to D, mo po diri sa Y to E. Okay? Okay, so let's consider the quadrilateral LOVE. And we know that the quadrilateral LOVE is a trapezoid. Then, we have the following given lists of information based on the given figure. First, bases. So, what are the bases? Line segment VE, or simply read as VE, and line segment OL or OL. Okay? So, balik ta. What are the bases? VE and OL. VE and OL are parallel to each other. Next, what are the legs? The legs are VO and EL. So, VO, so munang VO, muni ang EL. They are non-parallel sides sa trapezoid. Base angles. So, again, we have two parts sa base angles, the upper base angles and the lower base angles. The angle O, the angle L, the angle V, and the angle E. Next, M is the midpoint of VO. Where is M? Here. What kind is M? Or kung saan yung klase si M? M is the midpoint. Okay? And it is located at the middle sa line segment nga VO. M is the midpoint of VO. B is the midpoint of EL. Moning B, this is also a midpoint located at the middle of the side or the line segment EL. So, what's the purpose of the midpoint? para i-divide ang sides into two equal parts. Whatever the measurement from whatever the distance from M to V is just the same sa distance from M to O. Mapod rin sa B, whatever the distance from B to A is just the same as the distance from B to L. Therefore, if na form nga duha ka midpoints, it also forms the median or the midsegment. Therefore, line segment MB or MB is a median. The midsegment theorem of a trapezoid states that the median of a trapezoid is parallel to each base. So, balik na rin sa figure. MB is the median and MB is parallel to VE. MB is also parallel to OL. OL and VE are the bases of the trapezoid. Again, first statement, the median of the trapezoid is parallel to each base and its length. Okay, ari na ta sa kadua. Its length is half the sum of the bases. So, if you're going to add the two bases of the trapezoid, like for example, ang measurement sa VE plus the measurement of OL times 1/2, that is equals the measurement of the median MB. Again, VE plus OL divided by 2 equals MB, or VE plus OL times 1/2 equals MB. Sige, balik ta. The midsegment theorem of a trapezoid states that, first statement, the median of a trapezoid is parallel to each base. Second statement, its length is half the sum of the bases. In symbols or pi equation form, M equals B1 plus B2 over 2. Okay? Or M equals P sub 1 plus P sub 2 divided by 2, where M is the median, P sub 1 is the base 1, and B sub 2 is the base number 2. So, usually, the upper base presented as P sub 1. The lower base presented as P sub 2. Pero, pwede naman mo i-interchange. Pwede na po ang imong lower base, P sub 1, ang upper base is P sub 2. But usually, no? Usually, makita man na pirmi sa textbook sa math and other references that B sub 1 is always at the upper base. B sub 2 is always at the lower base. But it doesn't really matter because ang aim niya is i-add lang nimong duha ka base divided by 2, that is the measurement of your median. Okay? Bases can be interchanged. So, mo na itong i-discuss na ko ganiya. Okay? In the figure, the median is MP and the bases are VE and OL. Therefore, MB equals 1/2 times VE plus OL, or MB equals VE plus OL over 2. Okay, let's go now to the example problems that relates to this figure applying the midsegment theorem. Number 1, suppose VE is equals 8 centimeters and OL equals 14 centimeters. How long? Long ni siya ha? Anong howly? Long ni siya ha, long. Okay, ito lang ha, i-erase na to. Karang sa kabantay, no? Anong howling? Long na siya. How long is MB? So first, we're going to identify what are the given problems or what are the given facts based sa problem. Ang VE and OL are the bases of the trapezoid. MB is the median. So, we're looking for the median. So, this is the formula. MB equals VE plus OL over 2. Substitute with the given. So, usa man mga given. Ang VE which is 8, ang OL which is 14. So, substitute. MB equals 8 centimeters plus 14 centimeters all over 2. Of course, 8 plus 14, that is 22 centimeters over 2. So, i-divide na siya, that is equals 11 centimeters. Therefore, the median, which is MB, is equals 11 centimeters. Okay, let's go now to problem number 2. If VE is 4.2 meters and OL equals 3.6 meters, find MB. So, pareha gyapon sa number 1, ang median ang gipangita. So, MB equals VE plus OL over 2, substitute with the given. So, MB equals 4.2 meters plus 3.6 meters over 2. So, 4.2 plus 3.6, that's equals 7.8 centimeters. Not centimeters, meters. Again, 4.2 plus 3.6, that's equals 7.8 meters. All over 2, that is divided by 2, that is equals 3.9 meters. Therefore, the median, which is MB, is equals 3.9 meters. Number 3, if MB equals 6 centimeters and OL equals 8 centimeters, find VE. So, ang MB, which is the median, and OL is one of the bases of the trapezoid, ang given sa problem. So, median and one of the base ang given. So, find VE. So, this is the other base. Okay, ang base na sa trapezoid ang gipangita. So, balik ta. So, where's the VE? So, VE, so nasa sa upper base. Okay? So, ang upper base ang atong gipangita. Ang given, median, and the lower base. So, go back with the equation base figure nga MB equals VE plus OL over 2. Then, substitute with the given. So, substitute ta. So, pangita mang VE, no? So, stay as it is nga VE. MB, which is 6 centimeters. So, substitute the MB, which is 6. So, instead of MB, 6 centimeters equals VE plus OL. Substitute ang OL. So, it becomes 8 centimeters. Then, all over 2. Okay? Then, you can multiply both sides by 2 in order to cancel out that 2 sa denominator sa right side sa equation. Okay? So, it becomes, kani siya 2 times 6, kani siya VE plus 8 cm over 2 times 2. So, cancel out ang yan na lang, ang yang equation. So, that is equals 12 cm equals VE plus 8 cm. So, dala nga ato ng isuwat balik. So, dapat diri na siya. So, 2 times 6 centimeters, that is 12 centimeters. So, disregard first the measurement, no? The unit of measurement, which is centimeters. So, ato sana i-disregard first. So, 12 na siya. 12 equals VE plus 8. No? Then, you're going to use the addition property of equality. So, balik tagsuwat. So, let's have okay, maggamit ko lang color. I think red is preferable. So, balik tagsuwat, no? So, that is 12 equals VE plus 8, no? So, usat mang gipangita VE, di ba? So, we're going to use the addition property of equality. So, what's the purpose? Para ma-eliminate na to ang 8, no? So, usa may addition property of equality. So, pagkita VE plus 8 ta, okay, let's first solve for the right side equation. VE plus 8. Then, usay purpose para mawana ning 8 kay VE man ang gipangita. So, dapat ang purpose is mabilin ang VE sa right side sa equation. So, that is minus 8. Then, minus 8 po ka. Then, kung nag-minus 8 ka, mag-minus 8 po ka sa left. So, 12 minus 8. Then, that is equals VE. So, VE sa right. So, pa na siya, wala na siya, 0 na siya. 12 minus 8, that is 4. So 4 equals VE. So therefore, ang VE, which is the other base sa trapezoid, so that is equals 4 centimeters. Okay? So another technique is what we call the transposition. So actually sa textbooks, no, most of the textbooks wala man ang gitawag na transpose or something like that. But for the sake lang para mas madali ang inyong pag-solve, so we can use the transpose, no? So kani siya mo ni siya ang pinaka-standard way on how to solve an equation, preferably the linear equation. Okay? Sige, balik ta. Let's erase all of them. So balik ta sa 12 cm equals VE plus 8 cm. So transpose 8 centimeters to the right side of the equation. Actually, left side, no? Pwede sa left side. So 12 cm, so di pa positive 8 cm sa right side sa equation. Pag balin sa left, it becomes negative 8 cm. So ang nabili na lang sa right is VE. Okay? So that is VE equals 4 centimeters. That's the answer. Okay, so last one, number 4 na ta. If MB equals 8.5 inches and V equals 5 inches, find OL. So, ang ipangita is the other base sa trapezoid. So, MB is the median, which is 8.5 inches. Then, VE, para make sure lang ta kung asang VE. So, ang VE is the upper base. So, ang given, upper base, which is 5 inches. So, ang ipangita, ang lower base, which is OL. So, again, MB equals VE plus OL, then substitute with the given, then 8.5 inches equals 5 inches plus OL all over 2. Then multiply each side sa equation by 2 para mawa na lang to sa denominator sa right side. So it becomes 17 inches equals 5 inches plus OL, then transpose 5 to the right side of the equation. So muna 17 minus 5, that is the measurement of OL. Then therefore OL equals 12 inches. Okay, so I hope you learned something from our video lesson. Okay, so that's all for our topic for today. That's all for our video lesson. So goodbye and God bless.